Welcome to the DSQ podcast with Blake Lawson and Dakota Reynolds.
All right, that was a race. All right, that's the end of the episode. Bye. Well, that's Miami for you.
Yeah, it's Miami.
Welcome back
yeah.
to Miami. It's a Will Smith song, or is it his rapper? What is he? What is his rapper name? Not Will Smith, but I don't know. I don't remember. It might just be Will Smith.
Might just be Will Smith.
Yeah. Anyway, it's Miami. It's blue. It's pink. It's. I'll be honest. It's extended. It's the longest on the calendar, which sucks. This is gonna be a low energy episode, by the way.
Very low energy.
Yep. Welcome back to DSQ. It's Miami. A sprint weekend. The fancy USA rich people race. We got the other rich people race.
Yeah.
There's Vegas too.
There's Vegas.
And probably Coda. But yeah, you know how we feel about sprint weekends. You know how I feel about Miami. Let's just get into it. That being said, liveries, of course, were the big thing. Let's get right into it. Because the liveries were, well, let's get there. V-Carb livery.
Fire.
Good. Almost perfect. I didn't even notice the little soda can tabs. Doing what we suggested basically last season is they should just theme all their liveries based off Red Bull. We did try the summer edition. It's good.
It's pretty good.
I enjoyed. And steak, you tried. You put a little more splatter. And Ferrari, fuck you.
Why are you blue?
What are you? Why did you take half your Lego set from the back end of like an old Williams and then put it on the top of your Ferrari? Oh, it's a Lego. That ties into later. But anyway, man, there's so much, and we're not going into the helmets because everybody had a special helmets, basically. We don't. I was like, I'm not interested in doing helmets every week. So, yeah, there's mine. Ferrari, boo, V-Carb, good, steak, might as well not done anything.
Agreed.
Anyway. That's it. And we're not going to talk about the sprint or the race because I fell asleep during the race. No, it wasn't too bad. I guess we'll actually talk about it. Did have, of course, Miami upgrades. Red Bull being the big one. Non-circuit specific. Everybody else is circuit specific, right?
Oh, yeah. Everyone else is circuit specific. So Red Bull brings on some floor tweaks, changes up their floor a little bit, which that's Red Bull's big thing. Their aero, their floor. Got to make it phenomenal so Adrian Newey doesn't weep, except Adrian Newey's not on your team anymore, so good luck.
Too bad.
Everyone else is either circuit specific, which includes Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alpine, Williams, and Sauber, or didn't bring anything, which is McLaren, Ferrari, Haas, and V-Carb. Of course, the cars themselves are not the only things receiving upgrades this weekend. Circuit itself gets upgraded a little bit. They repositioned the white line and added a blue line at turn 6. The next one just says manholes at T3, T6, and between T8 and 9. It didn't specify whether it glued them down or it added manholes or what happened, but manholes.
Specifics.
They realigned the wall at turn 16 on the right-hand side. That's the wall as you come out of the horrible chicane from hell under the overpass. And they added a bollard in turn 8 specifically after it was either the sprint qualifying or after the sprint. Because I remember that was event note 3. That was the only change that happened is, we added a bollard. That was it. Back to the cars a little bit. New power units from all of the Mercedes. So there are new full power units minus the energy store and control electronics for all Mercedes power unit cars. So that is Oscar, Lando, George, Kimmy, Lance, Fernando, Alex, and Carlos. Both Saubers did the same, so Nico and Gabriel. And Esteban Ocon did as well. Charles Leclerc took a new control electronics alone, and Fernando Alonso also took an additional energy store and control electronics. So Fernando took everything new, like absolutely everything. And yeah, that's what I have for the upgrades.
Yep, and I think Liam did change to an older set of previously used internal components, ICE, all that.
Yeah, switches back all of that, but that's a little bit later in our Park Fermi highlights.
As producer Ludo comes in to make sure audio is working correctly.
No, absolutely.
All right. FP1, of course, it is a lovely sprint weekend, so just one FP1.
It's
So,
FP.
It's just FP. And it, really one data. I can't even pretend that I like this race. I just can't. I tried. This one was not as bad as other races, but man, I just don't like it. FP1 really Lando the Toolman Taylor bringing some tools on track with him. Whoops. Yuki too tall needed a seat adjustment.
I don't think he's ever heard those words before in his life.
And we did get a red flag. 4:30 left in the session. Lost the rear, hits it. That's turn 11 and 12 for Oliver Behrman. Minor repair job there. No harm, no foul, really. Maybe it contributed to his. Later thing happening. Also to get that Chekhov's gun. As you pointed out, Esteban did take a new engine components. Ollie Behrman did not. So let's set that gun on the table. Did we have rain? No, we did not have rain for the sprint qualification. Do you have anything before sprint quali? I was like, it's a Friday in the States, so it happened during normal work time mostly, so I just watch highlights.
No, I have nothing for that.
All right. Sprint qualifying, pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and get my weekly Lance rant out of the way. He wasted everybody's time in the sprint. He basically slowed down and on his hot lap made 4 drivers basically to slow down and not make the line, being your bottom for Jack Doohan, Yuki Tsunoda, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Oliver Behrman, for Lance to do that lap and still get out in Q1. Thank you, Lance, for wasting everybody's time and tires and precious resources. You fuck.
You're going to hate me later.
Anyway, so, as I said, those are your first. Tsunoda will change his suspension and start from the pit lane, so his P18 is really a B pit. Carlos Sainz is out. Your Q2, along with Lawson, Gasly, Ocon, and Nico Hulkenberg. And then your top 10, again, I didn't really see anything of note for the sprint qualifier other than your sprint pole. The youngest in the history-ish, if you count sprint pole as an actual pole, which I'll be honest, I don't. Toto Wolff said so. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is your P1. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris. Max Verstappen, P4. George Russell doing nothing, getting P5. Charles Leclerc starting P6. Pause for laughter. P7 is Lewis Hamilton. Alex, P8.
My boy.
Isaac, P9. And Fernando, Rookie Alonso, and your P10. Now let's get to the good stuff. What are their Park Fermi changes for the sprint? Besides Yuki Tsunoda adjusting his suspension and starting from the pit lane.
No.
Didn't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not
Other
worth
than
it.
that happening, it was just that.
So, hey, it's raining.
Welcome to the States in the springtime. In the South,
Yep.
we get rain a lot. Florida is pretty much tropical, especially around Miami. It rains a lot.
And when it rains, it pours, especially if you are a Charles Leclerc fan, because not even during the formation lap, but the early reconnaissance laps just to get lined up on the grid, he hits the wall and tries to come back, but does not work out for him. Gets noted for driving in unsafe condition. He is out before even the formation lap starts. That sucks.
That does suck.
Especially because it was delayed because of the rain. Hey, did you know they make a wet tire?
They sure do, but you wouldn't know because you haven't seen it.
Correct. So the
You
sprint...
almost got to see it.
Almost, yeah.
Carlos.
Carlos had it for one technical lap. The sprint are, of course, only 19 laps, very abridged race, and yeah, we do a formation lap. Everybody's on inters besides the aforementioned Carlos Sainz, who's on the X-Wets. We do one lap under safety car, and we're back into the pits, and we're delayed another 18 minutes or so. Why have the tire if we're not going to use it? Now, yeah, we would have bitched. I mean, we're going to bitch regardless because it's been a bad race anyway. It's a sprint race. You only have 19 laps, but nobody cares about the sprint anyway, so...
Might as well run it.
Yeah. But, yep, max locks during that formation lap. Again, to take everybody in the pit, blah, 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 do all their thing. Formation lap, 2 laps under the safety car. We get going. It's wet running. It's inner running. Really not a lot happening, per se. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read my tiny little notes in this thing.
So off the start, you get Antonelli going off on lap quote unquote 3. Piastri then takes the lead. From lap 4 to lap 7 or 8, you have Sainz and Ocon just back and forth battling. Like, it's insane. The Williams should not be battling this Haas, but Ocon's giving it all he's got, and he's got a lot.
They race.
They
They
race.
race hard for these. They race me so hard.
Race him so hard. Alex Albon.
Like I said, red running finally grows out, grows out, whatever. Ugh, it's like late. So we see pit stops in the sprint as everybody kind of makes that slick gamble. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda, one of the first to give it a try, because he's at the back. He's already got changes. Doesn't work out for him. Doesn't work out for anybody else. This is where the chaos starts. Probably about halfway, lap 12, lap 13.
Yeah.
Carlos, he has a moment. He gets a puncture? Question mark?
Something. In
Something.
T12. I think he smacked the wall is what it was.
Yep.
Smacked the wall with his rear left because it was in the fucking chicane from hell.
Yep. Does make it back to the pits. He does retire. And then probably the moment where everybody's like, oh, might actually have some interesting. Max Verstappen released right into the side of former pole sitter Kimi Antonelli. Ruins the Red Bull, ruins Kimi's pit stop. 10-second penalty for that. Sucks because it's kind of not Max's fault, but it's a sporting penalty. It costs Kimi a pit stop. So as much as it is I don't know who controls the lights and stuff. I don't know if that's a pit crew member or if that's on the pit wall.
So it gets automatically done, but there's a guy on the crew there that can override the light to remain red if there's a car coming. So he did not do his job there. Either that or more pit equipment shenaniganry, and it just didn't work.
Yep. Do you think they would have fixed that? They had the week off, but
You sure would. I think Mercedes pit crew probably wishes they had if it was busted, because they almost got hit. It'd have been pretty rough.
Would have been bad all around. Anyway, takes the penalty for him in a very close race, and then lap 15, turn 12. Fernando Alonso using his new power unit to get careened to the wall by known Spanish hater Liam Lawson. And I can say that without libel because I have the evidence. I have it printed out. Go look at the results. That basically neutralizes this entire race. We finished under a safety car. Good job, Lando Norris. You got lucked out with a safety car in Miami again. Woo! Now, this one is a mess because there was a lot of penalties after the fact.
Yeah, there was.
And I realized I did not write them down.
I did not either.
Shoot.
Rip.
I have who got penalties, but not necessarily what they were for. Anyway, let's get sprint results. Should I read the original sprint results and then the actual sprint results? All right, as said, getting 2 spots. That's Lando Norris. He finishes your sprint. P1, Oscar Piastri, +/-0. This is kind of a rundown, I guess. It's normally your
It's
thing.
the rundown. Yeah, I mean, you can take it over if you want.
I just don't know what else to do.
I can definitely run the rundown.
Whatever. I can do it.
Okay, go for it.
I don't want to steal.
I will judge and I'll give you an out of 10 score at the end.
Gotcha. All right, so Piastri +/-0. Lewis Hamilton proving that he is only good at Ferrari in sprint races with 4. And then we have Alex Albon. Psych, he got a penalty. It's George Russell gaining a spot. Then you got Russell. Oh, wait, no, he just got a spot. That's Lance Stroll. +10. Yeah. Okay. And then P6, Yuki Tsunoda. +14 spots.
14.
Some of that on merit. Some of that obviously you can crash. Some of it on some luck with slicks and safety cars. But yeah. Then P7, Liam Lawson. Psych, he got a penalty. It's Kimi Antonelli losing 6, unfortunately, in not a great turn 1 for him. By the way, Max was noted for being out of the pit box. Nothing happened, so keep crying. P8, Gasly gaining 5 spots. P9, Hulkenberg getting 2. Isaac Hadjar, P10, losing a spot. Albon, after his penalty, loses 3 spots for P11. Esteban finishing even. Lawson with his penalty. That was the collision with Fernando Alonso. He still gains a spot after his penalty. Behrman, also with a penalty. Where is his? He still gained 5 spots after his. Bortoletto +3. Jack +1. Verstappen with his 10-second penalty for causing the collision finishes in the points. Drops all the way down to P17. And then your DNFs, Fernando Alonso 18, Sainz losing 4, and Charles Leclerc technically DNF'd, technically DNS'd, but still counted as a DNF in the official classification. I assume you have penalties.
I have loosely penalties. I don't have...
You got handed something.
I did get handed the penalties, but I'm having to go digging just a little bit.
I mean, Alex was, I believe, an unsafe release. Behrman's was an unsafe release.
Yes, Behrman's was an unsafe release. Yeah, talk less. I know your whole thing is talking.
Talk.
Just shut up for 2 seconds, F1 journalist. Alex's was minimum time under safety car conditions.
Oh, that's correct.
So didn't get any penalty points for that, but did get the time penalty. And then Lawson got his from his collision with Fernando Alonso. Yeah.
Ouch.
9.5 out of 10. Only note, Lance actually gained 11 spots.
Oh. Cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that changes everything.
Well.
Guess what? Lance didn't get a star. Spoiler alert to later in the episode. But yep, that's your sprint. It was somewhat entertaining for a couple laps there, but it finished under a safety car. and kind of was blah. Especially if you're a Ferrari fan. If you're a Charles Leclerc fan, you cried. Very funny.
much.
Very funny that Matt left the room the second he crashed. That was a very funny clip from P1.
Yeah, he's not allowed to leave the room ever again.
Yep. Oh, man. Now, back to our regularly scheduled Grand Prix weekend with regular old quali. Of course, the new format this year. Parc Ferme can be broken, fixing everything. Red Bull got some valuable data. Don't know if we mentioned it, but on those upgrades, it was only Max Verstappen that had the upgraded floor. Yuki Tsunoda was still running the old spec, but it still worked. So, at least for the sprint. All right. Do you have any notes on qualifying?
I don't have any specific notes on qualifying.
Again, I don't think there was a whole lot of anything that happened besides just your qualifying order.
Yeah, not really. Only thing of note is that all of the times were basically within 2 seconds of one another, from P1 to P20.
Yes, I didn't. I only wrote down Max's time because it is, surprise, surprise, like every other session this year, a new single lap record. Probably happen every year, or every race this time.
More than likely.
Same thing with the fastest lap. Spoiler alert, also a new flat record because the cars are just faster.
Disagree.
Disagree.
No, it's not.
708
Versus 746.
Oh, okay, but close.
Very close. Yeah, no, I was keeping tabs of that at the end.
Anyway, your regular old qualifying results. Little bit of shakeup. Lance doing so well, starts P19 ahead of Oliver Behrman with P20. Pierre Gasly gets P18, but he will start from the pit. Sorry, I guess I am taking that from the Parc Ferme part, but
Nope,
I just
all
haven't
good.
noted.
I was like, I've got more Parc Ferme highlights than that, so.
Fernando Alonso, P17. Nico, your final Q1 exit at P16. Your Q2s, Liam Lawson, P15. Jack Doohan, P14. Gabriel, he gets P13. Lewis Hamilton, big exit for the Q2. P12, just only ahead or only behind Isaac Hadjar, and P11. And then your top 10, Yuki Tsunoda, not having the luck with the timing, not doing it well. Or he's just not a fast driver, according to Lando Norris. I was going to whole rant on it, but I really don't care anymore. Yep, Yuki P10. Esteban Ocon sneaky in there with the Haas for P9. Charles Leclerc P8. Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz P7 to P6, respectively. Go Williams.
Go Williams!
Doing nothing, getting P5, George Russell. Oscar Piastri, P4. Kimi Antonelli trying to regain a little bit of performance after the unfortunate, not necessarily all his fault happening in the sprint race, but P3 for him. And then Lando Norris, P2, when it's Max Verstappen yet again.
Ha ha ha. You thought it would be different.
Back on top with the new single lap record of 1:26.204. Welcome back, Big Daddy. Man.
Oh yeah, we sort of glossed right over that.
Yep.
Hey, Max is a dad. Like
Didn't
a
seem to
dad.
slow him down. Like an actual. Well, he was
He was
not just
already
a
a
bonus
dad.
dad.
Yeah, he was already a dad. Like, let's be honest with you, he was already a dad. But he
Now a blood dad.
is father of a child.
Yes. Woo. Woohoo. And he only missed one day. Did not miss the race.
Did not.
He missed media, so it's Lily might already be his favorite because he got him out of a media day. All right, and finally, it's race day. But what got changed under Parc Ferme?
Under Parc Ferme, we got the old headrest change from Yuki Tsunoda. Always good luck in that Red Bull to swap that headrest out. Totally always good luck. And never anything bad happens when you swap the headrest out. Good. Oscar Piastri, they change out it just says floor bolt.
One bolt.
One singular bolt.
I just like the scrutineer's just there. It's like, one. You call me over here for this? Okay, let's watch it. DeWalt. All right, cool. Thanks. I'm gonna go back doing my real job now. Thanks, Zach.
Liam Lawson, of course, as mentioned earlier, swaps back to an old power unit. Guess the new one's either not doing too hot or they just took it to take it.
Yeah.
Avoid penalty later on.
And they knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew.
Premonition. And Alex and Carlos from Williams both change out their drivers' cooling mediums. So, yeah, I guess. I mean,
So
it
gel?
was warm. Yeah, I guess some gel or something. I don't know.
We got better gel.
Put on a different coat of what's stuff for computers? I can't think. Thermal paste.
Thermal
There we
paste,
go. New thermal paste.
I was like,
for
glycol?
Alex
That's
and
actually what
Carlos.
they're using, but not liquid cooled.
You
Gotcha.
know. With that, we go into the race, I guess, unless you have anything specific.
I do want to, because it was technically before this, the most entertaining part of the weekend, the fucking Lego race. Awesome. We just happened to tune in
hilarious.
at the right time for that. They were having fun. We were having fun. Carnage, very impressive. Definitely the highlight of the weekend. Would have taken that over the actual sprint and race, I'll be honest.
Best race all weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Poor Academy getting canceled on their second race. That sucked.
Yeah, it did. But, I mean, given, again, the storms that were going through the area, I get it. I
Yep,
do.
We did get to read the lighting procedure, which I don't think we ever have before.
Yeah, document 69.
Nice.
But yeah, lightning procedures, which, I mean, matches most sporting events procedures. Hey, it's lightning. Get to shelter. Game stops.
Yep.
So, that was fun. But yeah, after they get the Lego cars put back up and get the real cars out onto the grid.
Get rid of all the 1x1 brick debris from fucking Alpine. I did see a picture. The Alpine wing was gone. And I also did see a video on Instagram of them putting the cars together, and it was painstaking and took months.
That's...
So I'm glad they had fun. I hope they treated it with respect and the incidents were actually incidents and they weren't just being disrespectful and being assholes. Because they worked hard on those cars.
It did look a little...
I respect you, builders.
Something we don't talk too much about is tire choice, which...
They didn't talk about either.
They didn't talk about either for the first half of the race, pretty much. We didn't get tire graphics until like lap 24, 25. Insane. But yeah, per the grid order, everyone in the bottom 5 positions started with hards. Everyone elected for fresh hards except for the 2 Aston Martins, Fernando Alonso and Lance, opting for some old sets. The next 5 having a full mix between mediums and hards, all fresh. And your top 10, everybody on fresh mediums, except for Carlos with old mediums and George with fresh hard tires.
Yep,
Not that we
interesting.
would have known that.
Would not had to try to do it as they were driving around. Of course, they'd swap and just fall in the top 3. I'm like, okay, well, we know the top 3. What about everybody else? Bert Meinlander did start on the regular all-weather tires on the Aston Martin safety car. So we did know that one, at least. All right. Now, like we said, the risk of rain was looming over the heads of everybody at the Miami International Autodrome, but much like that one video that drives everybody crazy of the truck constantly going towards the bollard and never hitting it, that was the rain.
God, I know exactly the one you're talking about from Mythbusters.
Yep. Everybody knows the pain. And if you don't, go look it up. I'm going to be lazy on this episode, not edit it in the YouTube video. You should go watch it on YouTube anyway, though. Watch it, I mean, just throw it on, because it's just static graphics. Anyway, it's race time. Lights out. And nothing, because it's copywritten, technically, so we can't say it on
We're
here.
driving.
We're driving. We're going away. Lap 1 shenanigans with Max and Lando, as predicted. It was nice and clean, unless you're a Lando fan and delusional, and then you think it was wrong, but whatever. God, we did have the F1 watch along up. At least I could see the chat. Man, y'all are delusional. Everybody's delusional in that chat. And then, nothing happened. It was clean, whatever ish. Sure, however, argue it, whatever. Send your complaints to caleb@achievementer.com. And the big one is, hi, Liam, you're back. This time with this one makes more sense because it's the Kiwi versus the Aussie. Makes contact with Jack Doohan, or Jack Doohan goes into him, depending who you ask.
Racing incident.
Broadcast seemed to think it was a little more Lawson. My bias tends to say it was also Lawson, but racing incident. Cost Doohan his race immediately, will cost Lawson his race a little bit down the road. But there's your first VSC. Nobody pits because we just started.
Yeah.
2
laps in.
Not a whole lot. Again, it's kind of it's Miami. We had moments, but I still don't think it's good enough to be called a good race. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Lap 9, Alonso. Spinning himself this time. No Kiwi aid on this one.
Spinala.
Just a quick little spin, nothing. I mean, Lawson was within vicinity, so I guess maybe could have subliminally or psychically channeled his inner...
the old looks in the mirror.
Spin.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Your first pit stops... actually, nope, I do have something before that. It's Max and Lando again. I can't read my own notes, and it's kind of an issue.
I don't have anything Max and Lando. I have a lap 18 from Signs.
Yeah, I do have that. I have both. I think this is where, unless I meant to put Oscar. Oh, this is where they were battling, and kind of Oscar goes through and allows them to battle. That's I think what it has. I do have a noted, but I don't know what for.
He was leading the track and gaining an advantage.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he was determined to have not gained an advantage.
And then Carlos Sainz, also leading the track and gaining an advantage. Or that's the one you just talked about?
That was the one I just talked about.
I don't know what Max and Lando did, but they did something.
He pushed me off?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Lap 20 does trigger the first pit stop, so that's Gabriele Bortoletto.
You got it the second time.
Yep. Oh, hey, by the way, the cough's not gone yet. So in 2 weeks. Lap 25 is when we finally do get our tire graphics. Woohoo. And then this is where we start getting a little bit into some interesting stuff. Oliver Behrman just kind of flames out, unfortunately. Well, not him, his engine.
Engine just fucking
His
blows.
old, probably should have been replaced when they replaced Esteban's engine. Does a little sputter. Does a full, actual, flame out.
Yeah. Gives you the old, it's going at speed, fucking... Gives the old grinding gears, and then just dead.
So that is the unfortunate end for Oliver Behrman's race. Does take out it was turn 8 is when he finally parks it. Another VSC. A little bit of rain, but nothing legitimate. Nothing significant. Just some George Russell might have been sweating in his helmet kind of rain. Like we said, obviously this triggers some pit stops. Yuki Tsunoda decides that the pit lane line was 20 feet in front of where it actually was. So he gets a 10-second penalty.
Nope.
15-second penalty.
Nope.
5 second. What?
There you go, 5 second.
Okay, so I have 15 written down. I knew that was incorrect.
You are incorrect.
I think I put a line to separate it.
You probably put a line. It was 5 second time penalty for speeding.
Yep. Does get that. Lap 33, Gabby B also having a PU failure. Tries a little bit over down the road, but also has to park on the side. A virtual safety card. Did not see the actual safety card this race, I believe.
Nope.
All
there
VSCs.
was no safety car, just all VSCs.
And then I just have the line. You know the line. I can't remember who it was. Was it Carlos and Albon that Hamilton was racing? I think so. Maybe not.
Probably.
Anyway, people were racing, and through goes
I think
Hamilton.
it was specifically Carlos.
So, welcome back, Lewis Hamilton. Through he goes. Lap 38. Liam Lawson finally
Succumbs to his wounds.
Floor damage, we thought too. Also had a nice little chunk taken out of the freshly pink vinyled side pod, whatever. This is a rough episode for me. Anyway, he retires that, and then that does not require a safety car. He just kind of goes in. So,
Yep.
Good for him. Lap 41. Not your boy, but your boy's teammate. I mean, you kind of like Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos, all right.
Carlos and Pierre Gasly both noted for yellow flag infringement. Going a little too fast.
You're good.
Did you see the notes? No, I was talking about them. Did you see the actual notes on this?
Yes, I did see the notes on them.
Interesting is like, yep, it was only one station and there was a yellow flag on a yellow background, and it's like, did no one think about this?
No, obviously not.
Giant yellow. It's like, did we put a giant yellow Pirelli banner right behind a flag thing? A Pirelli logo, which is yellow and red, and the two most important flags you'll probably see are yellow and red.
I'm too lazy to look it up, but what place is Florida in education again? Yeah, that'll answer your question.
Maybe ahead of us, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, no, definitely ahead of us. So I was like, I think we are 49th, and the only people that are beating us is Mississippi.
Yeah, they're beating us. Yeah.
Beating us to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, man. And then race is over. More just checking to see if you had anything between that.
Just Lewis being sassy.
Oh, yeah. I guess we do need to talk about Lewis losing it a little bit and kind of swapping back and forth. Team orders, not team orders. Same thing. Alex maybe ignoring a team order by accident, according to his post-race interview. Or he may have got the order as he was passing Carlos.
They've been, oops, we're already here, so let's do what we can.
Whatever. But yeah, Lewis, maybe trouble in Ferrari dice?
I mean, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when.
Yeah. He was far more he was more positive in his post-race interview, obviously. This heat of the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
But have a spot of tea or something is definitely a frustration line.
Yeah, you're going to have a spot of tea while you're at it.
And then as Oscar finishes his race ahead of everybody by 6 million feet, probably more than that, actually. I don't know if that is in metric feet, but Lewis and Carlos being, hey, that's my seat, has a little bit of a coming together. Just a little bit of a racing incident. No harm, no foul, no further action taken.
Little bips.
Yeah, that's it. That's the race.
That's the race.
Nothing cringy happened after the race. Definitely not happening. Oscar, buddy.
Hit the GRIDdy.
He hit something.
He
No.
hit one. He
hit his foot on the ground.
He hit the GRIDdy, but didn't inhale.
So celebrate his victory. I guess losing a bet with I forgot the football player, the one who made the GRIDdy famous. Made the bet that if he would win, he would do the GRIDdy, and because he qualified, let me check my notes. P4 in the fastest car on the grid. He's like, well, I didn't practice. It seems like poor planning on your fault, Oscar. So a half-assed attempt at a GRIDdy was done. And he will live in infamy for that, and he already hates it. But good on Oscar for at least still holding up his end of the bargain.
I think he's got to do it every time he wins now.
Yep.
That's his thing.
Which might be a lot.
That's the George Russell ham pose. It's the Lando Norris champagne fucking...
She hasn't done it in years.
When he wins, maybe.
Who knows when that'll happen. Being mean. All right, and now let's get to the protest. So at one point during the note, which I didn't note down because I was just going to note it when they noted it, and they never noted it, Max, much like calling out Lando last year in the insert name here, Grand Prix, for Lando not lifting during yellow, he accused George Russell of not lifting during the yellow. Red Bull did a formal protest. The FIA did accept to do the hearing, include the technical director from Red Bull, GP for Red Bull, George Russell, and then the other technical delegate for Mercedes, his team he drives for. I just thought it was interesting who, like, Max I mean, LGP was there, but I guess he was the one that overlaid the information, so that makes sense. But anyway, whatever. Yep. Did the hearing. He did the lift off about 25% off the throttle, which was 30 pounds of torque, or was it percent torque? Can't remember.
You got me.
That's
more stats than I'm willing to put into. So
anyway, something like that. Enough to where the protest was, quote, unfounded. So, or the evidence was unfounded. The claim was unfounded. That's what I'm actually trying to say. So Red Bull loses some money. Wah.
Steak dinner for FIA tonight.
Ooh, Don Shula Steakhouse. You
Let's
want a
go.
shitty steak from a shitty football player, coach, whatever. Sorry, Miami Dolphin fans, all two of you. I like the current coach. He seems like a bro. Yep, that was that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this is a bad episode or not. I'm just not into Miami. I don't
It's not
get
a
it.
great track.
It's just, yeah. Mr. V's Garage did a great video on what he would do to fix it, and I think I agree with the changes he makes, and they should do that and pay him millions of dollars for coming up with the idea.
Absolutely.
Or do something, especially now that it is the longest running current race on the calendar. We cannot take another 2041. Like, how long? I don't even know what year that is at this point.
That's insane.
Too long for this. Something has to be different. Starting next year. You got time. Start now. You're tearing down the track as we speak, probably. But yeah. Rundown, stats and stars.
Rundown, stats and stars. Your rundown for the Miami
Now by the professional rundown person,
Grand
not
Prix.
me.
Your winner of the Miami Grand Prix and gaining 3 spots for that place, Oscar Piastri, finishing at 1 hours. Hours is plural when it's one of them. 1 hour, 28 minutes, 51.587 seconds.
We're giving him a 1/16,000th of a second penalty for the GRIDdy, though.
Yeah, that was awful. Finishing behind him, gaining none, losing none, Lando Norris. Pulling a page out of Piastri's book from the old sprint. And then finishing a mile behind him, George Russell.
Yeah,
Gaining 2 spots to finish P3 and round out the podium.
Quite possibly, literally.
Quite possibly literally a mile. I mean, it was...
I don't know what that is in meters.
How long's
What
the
the
track?
fuck is a kilometer?
Track is 5.41... Oh, track is 3.362 miles. Yeah, actually, I think he finished a literal mile behind him.
What is that? 1.2 kilometers, actually? I should know that. I think so. I think that's what it is.
What is a
What the fuck
third
is a
of
kilometer?
5.4?
Yeah.
Something like that. Fuck the metric system. Actually, bring the metric system here. Yeah. So your people outside the podium positions, Max Verstappen loses 3 spots to finish P4. Alex Albon gains 2 spots to finish P5.
Let's
what
go Williams.
the hell? Go Williams. Kimi Antonelli loses 3 spots to finish P6. Charles Leclerc gains a spot to finish P7. Lewis Hamilton barely scrapes by, gaining 4 spots to finish P8. Carlos Sainz scraping by and trying to take Lewis out, finishing P9, losing 3 spots. And Yuki Tsunoda rounding out your top 10, gaining none, losing none, and finishing P10.
Barely scraping his penalty by Isaac by about a tenth of a second.
It was very close. 74.434 and 74.602. So
Real
very
close.
close.
Quite close.
Speaking of P11, gaining none and losing none, Isaac Hajar. He did have a jar. P12, that was an awful joke. P12, losing 3 places is Esteban Ocon. P13 is Pierre Gasly, gaining 7 spots. Nico Hulkenberg gains 2 spots to finish P14. However, he is still a lap down, as is Fernando Alonso, gaining 2 spots to finish P15, and Lance Stroll gaining 2 spots to finish P16. Your DNFs are Liam Lawson, losing 2 spots from his original starting position. Gabriel Bortoleto losing 5 spots for 18th. Ollie Behrman actually not gaining or losing anything and DNFing in 19th, and Jack Doohan losing 6 spots from his original start to DNF for our P20. Your
Sorry, this is my thing. I think I just hit my headphone on the mic.
Good job.
Don't know if it came through or not.
Your stats. Your driver of the day. I voted for Alex Albon.
Also voted for Alex Albon.
It was Oscar Piastri. Which, fair. I will give him that.
I won't be mad about it.
A lot of other people also said Alex Albon.
Yeah.
So Oscar Piastri won with 20.7% of the vote. Alex Albon was second with 19% of the vote. Very close.
Is that the lowest percentage so far? I think it is.
For the
winner
year, yeah, I probably so. I'm too lazy to the point to go back and look.
Yep.
Plus, I want to not just spend enough time on that because I've got another type of rundown that I've got to do later on because I forgot this is the quarter point of the season. Lando Norris with 14.2% is your third place in that. Fourth was Max Verstappen with 9.3%. And fifth was Lewis Hamilton with 8.7%. All others combined getting 28.1% of the vote. Your fastest pit stop, Sauber. With Gabriel Bortoletto's pit stop on lap 19. That first pit stop was the fastest pit stop of the race.
Well, damn, I thought I had those points in the bag.
Right? You almost did. 2.24. Right. Well, I mean, I say that. Who did you say?
Ferrari.
Incorrect. It would have been the one right behind that was McLaren at 2.25 seconds. And I think that was Piastri. Your slowest stop was Mercedes, specifically George Russell on lap 29 with a 4.51 seconds. No slower pit stops this race. No penalties to take from all of those. No front wing elements that were changed out. Anything like that. That was it. That was them's the brakes. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I was pulling up the predict.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 65 points. Not the killing I did last session out.
I closed the predict. I'm too lazy to look at.
I did somehow think Oscar was going to win first place, so I did get points for that. I did get the double chips for Kimi Antonelli finishing qualifying ahead of Lewis Hamilton. I got the VSC because obviously that was going to happen. There's been a VSC VSC SC, some kind of intervention every race. And I did have Alpine outscoring Racing Bulls. That is the only ones I got correct. I did not do good this week, but I think I'm still winning because of everything else.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it is 328 to 292 to 167.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It shows my full government name. I don't like that. But yeah, are you pulling yours up, or
no?
Okay,
no. I had the actual standings up because that's what we get into after this.
Gotcha. Well, let's get to our stars of the weekend. Remember, it is a sprint weekend, and we count both of those, even if it is a insignificant race per Daddy Toto.
We do indeed count both of those, and I definitely factored that into my decision on stars.
I feel like you didn't.
I did factor in the entire weekend, even if it sounds like I didn't, because my third star is Lance Stroll. He did gain 11 places in the sprint, which is insane for it being a rainy race. And do we want to flash back to Sochi, the last time we raced that, and ask if he was good in the rain then? For him to gain 11 places and finish in the points. Yes, he was last of the classified finishers in the Grand Prix. We're not going to talk about that. But it's still hella impressive for him in the sprint. I'm going to give him that.
Let him credit.
He gets a crumb.
Woohoo. I'm sure he will be devastated.
You know what? 11 places in the sprint's great for a Nepo baby.
Yep. I'll give him the credit. However, I am biased. Third star getting total of, double points finish, 14 places in the sprint. I got to give it to my boy Yuki. Even if he did, it's still finishing in the points with a penalty. I'm going to be biased. P3. Or star 3. Yuki's not
My second star I gave to Oscar Piastri. P2 in the sprint, plus 3 places and the win in the GP. And he wittily hit the GRIDdy on the GRID.
Yep.
Even though it was half a second of the GRIDdy. But you know what?
I don't know if we can legally call it the GRIDdy, to be honest.
I mean, it was the GRID.
The GRID. Man.
That's it. That's all I got for him.
We're just going to move on to P. Star number 2 for me is Pierre Gasly. Started from the grid, started from the pit on the Grand Prix. Still managed to get 7 spots. No points, but still, 7's not too bad. Does gain a good 5 to get 1 point. It's what won Alpine getting more points than Racing Bulls. So 1 point. 12 total spots. Alpine did not have it this weekend, so some credit for putting a car where it doesn't belong.
I mean, you got a point. You do have a point. Speaking of putting a car where it doesn't belong, at least I don't think it ever has belonged, but people like to believe in the old days when it did belong. Lewis Hamilton pulling the Ferrari up 4 places, gaining P3 in the sprint, and up 4 places and points in the Grand Prix. Finally talking back to Ferrari while the Ferrari CEO was in the garage, headphoned up. Absolute fire from that man. I love it. And I want to see more of that. So Lewis Hamilton with star number 1.
My star number 1, because I can't give it to McLaren, I just can't, is also Lewis Hamilton. Did some good in that Ferrari. Probably did some, I mean, when you compare it to your teammate crashing in the recon laps, doesn't look that impressive, but Ferrari didn't have a good weekend. He made the best of what he could. I felt like it was good enough. So yeah, I mean, 8 places total. Might as well. I just can't. I couldn't give it to Lance.
I mean, that's fair.
Couldn't give it to McLaren because 1, the GRIDdy. 2, I'm biased as shit. And 3, it's what you expect. It's the rocket ship. They did what they were supposed to do.
It's the world's fastest car.
Also, the pole sitter has still not won Miami. So
that is true.
Max
Miami
wasn't
curse.
supposed to win anyway.
Max was not forecast to win. So now we get to delve into something that rarely gets done throughout the year, but usually gets done towards the end. But it is the quarterway point, so it's time for a checkup, which is essentially our battles. I mean, pretty much the entire grid is bad. Well, not the entire grid with the entire grid. Let's be honest. There's some people that are running away from other people. Some people haven't even put points on the board yet. But here we are. Currently leading your World Drivers' Championship is Oscar Piastri with 131 points. Right behind him is Lando Norris with 115. And in P3, and actually having to put in effort, is Max Verstappen with 99 points. Behind him is George with 93. So George is very close to doing nothing and being P3 in the driver's standings. Very fun.
Mr. Consistency.
Riffing off of George Russell being in P4, it's a 1-2-1-2 of Mercedes and Ferrari. So Leclerc follows up with him, but it's quite the distance of 40 points in P5. Kimi Antonelli is right behind him in P6, giving the future is now old man to Lewis Hamilton in P7 with 41 points. Alex Albon, driver for Williams, is sitting in P8 with 30 points. It's the new Mr. Consistency. And I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. I'm down with the Williams driver finishing within the top 10 in the driver's standings. It's wonderful. What's also crazy is Esteban Ocon sitting in P9 in a Haas.
What's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
Now, he does have half the points of Alex, currently sitting at 14, and he is technically tied with Lance Stroll in P10. But I guess
What is an extinct polar bear doing anywhere?
count back. You know who they're both ahead of? Yuki Tsunoda in P11 with 9 points. Pierre Gasly right behind Yuki.
To be fair,
Traditions.
Yuki does love P11. That is his
spot.
It is his spot.
And Pierre
Also
Gasly's
ahead of
spot,
Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly's spot is always right behind Yuki Tsunoda in P12 with 7 points. Even on points with Carlos Sainz, who is in P13. Nico Hülkenberg and Ollie Behrman both have 6 points, but they are 14th and 15th respectively. As a Kajar is your last of your point scorers with 5 points in P16. Everyone else is based off of highest positions, basically high card if you know poker. Fernando Alonso in 17th, Liam Lawson in 18th, Jack Doohan in 19th, and Gabby B sitting in P20. On to the teams. Would you like to take a guess with McLaren in first place and a McLaren in second place? Would you like to guess who's leading the team standings?
Cadillac.
Unfortunately, not yet. Next year, though. Next year's our year.
With drivers Zhou Guan Yu and Checo Perez.
Insane thought process. Insane.
We don't do rumors.
It is McLaren. McLaren sitting with 246 points, almost double Mercedes' points.
Congrats
in
to everybody except for Zach Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. Mercedes sitting in P2 with 141 points. Red Bull Racing not far behind them at 105. Ferrari is sitting in P4, not far behind them with 94 points. Williams Racing is in P5 in the team standings. Now, there's quite the distance between them and Ferrari, 94 points to 37 points. But we're getting there. We're working towards it. Just got to get the whole team on the same page.
We just got them off the spreadsheet. Now we want to get back on the page.
No. We got out of Excel. Now we're going into Word.
Oh, okay. They should have borrowed the engine from the Blue Angels.
Yeah, maybe they should have just strapped that to the back of it. Hell yeah. Love a F-18 cruising down track mock Jesus. Behind Williams is Haas with 20 points. No notes. Aston Martin sitting in P7 with 14 points. P8 is Racing Bulls with 8 points. P9 is Alpine with 7 points. And Kick Sauber in 10th with 6 points. All of those go to Nico Hülkenberg. Same with Gasly for Alpine. Has Hajar got the only points? No. Hajar has 5. Lawson would have to have 3.
Nope, Yuki Tsunoda.
Ah, that is correct. I am dumb. Those other 3 points.
Do not even belong on the team.
That's how your standings look right now. Quarter of the way in.
25%.
It's insane that we're already at 25%.
Yep. And we get a week off, and then we don't get any better racing, unfortunately, because we got the double header. It's a triple header, technically, but double header of Imola and Monaco. Which, they should just do the Lego race again for Monaco, and that's it. Nothing else.
I mean, I am hyped a little bit for Imola. I enjoy Imola as a track, just maybe not as a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember, I'm pretty sure our episode last season was Imola, so.
Oh, I mean, you are very correct. Yeah, the audio level's still doing good, Producer Ludo.
I think Producer Ludo's telling us it's about time to wrap this episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, quarter way through the season, we'll take a break. Next weekend is Mother's Day, so say hi to your mom. Unless you're estranged from them because they're toxic, then don't. Treat yourself. Don't say just because of their family.
Tell your mom I said hi.
Yes, if you're talking to your mother and they're not, tell your yes. I mean, we'll tell her later, but.
All right, young gravy. He may have been there. We don't know.
It may have been. How tall is young Gray? Hey Siri. See, I can make that joke because nobody here is an iPhone. So, all right, it is late. Let's wrap this up. We'll see you in 2 weeks for Emilia Romagna, a Ferrari home race, a V-car home race. And yeah,
Hopefully one that won't be rained out.
who knows? Also, Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's go Stars. Let's go Leafs.
Go Leafs.
Okay, bye.
Follow the pod everywhere at DSQ Pod.